and we are here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here with us as we are back inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. We've been traveling for a minute, and I appreciate everybody that traveled with us. As always, we got our travel buddies, right? So thank you for being with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. I can't thank you enough for being a part of the show here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And I am so excited to be here with Papa Joe this morning. Of course, you are with us around the country and the world, up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on Facebook.com and YouTube.com, as well as on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. And so I thank you so much for being on the broadcast, and thank you for being a part of this broadcast from wherever you are. And so thank you for that positivity and for that goodness. A lot of great stuff coming up on today's show, and so we have a lot of great things going on. Hour number one is going to be spent with Papa Joe with the world of baseball. Then we're going to jump into some other elements here. We will make a note or two on the NCAA tournament, which of course I'm going to talk about with Ross here this morning, which is hour number 2 of the broadcast. It's going to show up in a separate video, so we're actually going to cut this video into 2 pieces so that you have both of these videos here with you this morning, one on baseball, and then of course our drive as we drive into the NCAA tournament. One more time, Ross and I have been doing it for over a decade, and I cannot thank Ross enough for being a part of this journey with me, this drive through the tournament, which is proudly presented by Great Lakes Honda City, who is our exclusive studio partner as well. So that's coming up in hour number 2. And hour number 1, PJ and I are going to talk about all things in the baseball world, some topics going on with baseball. And of course, I want to show my love and appreciation for Miss MT before we get started with anything here this morning. Mary is another mom to me, and Mary, living down in the great state of Florida, I cannot thank her enough for welcoming me the way that she does, for opening her home to me, for showing me love and support always. And she's just somebody that you can lean on. She's somebody you can confide in. She gives to everyone. She asks for very, very little. And, you know, it's just, she's one of those people that gives and gives and gives. And you look at her life and you look at the love that she's surrounded by, and I'm not surprised by any of that, because I think God's best angels are the ones that are surrounded by that love and that give that love. And she radiates from everywhere. You know, you could be 1,000 miles away from her, or you could be right across the table from her, and you could feel that love and you could feel that support. So today, on her birthday, and like I had said before, I believe she turns 23 today, I want to wish MT a very, very happy birthday and many more years of happiness, of positivity, of peace, and just overall goodness. Because if anyone should be happy, and if anyone should have a life where God shines on their face every single millisecond, it should be Miss MT. So with that being said, I welcome Papa Joe into the show, and I wish MT a very happy birthday. PJ.
She's running around the house, Daniel. I'm sure she heard you, so she'll be cruising by here in a little bit. I do have to comment on, I don't follow basketball, especially pros. I don't care for the pro game at all. But I do like to watch college basketball, and especially women's college basketball. And knowing that I'm an SEC man, I'm very pleased that the selection committee decided to take 14 teams from the SEC. I don't know how they do that, but they got 14 teams going from the SEC. And 3 or 4 of them could be the national champions, Florida one of them. You know, for the nation, they think of the SEC as a football school, and it is, a football conference. But, they play all sports, and I think Florida is number 10 in the nation in baseball, and the softball team is number 3 in the nation. And, of course, Florida is on or near the top spot most of the year. And I'm very pleased to be able to watch them. I watched the full tournament, SEC tournament, and I'm going to be watching them through with a big tournament if everything goes okay. I know they have a cupcake to begin with, but there are no cupcakes in this 64 teams. They got here for a reason. So every team can be beat anytime. So I'm very pleased that the Florida is doing what they're doing, and they have one of the best guards in the country, Walter Clayton. I'm sure he's going to be a first-round draft pick. Of course, he was just voted first-team All-American yesterday. The Gators are tough. They're tall, they're long, they're fast. They play defense, they play offense. Todd Golden's got 9 guys that he rotates out, and they can play a long or they can play a short, and they'll be a force. I'm pretty certain that I'm pretty sure at least they'll get this Sweet 16. So we'll see what happens. Your tournament, I'm going to be listening to the second hour of your show with you and Ross to see how you do on your drive. I'm curious to know. And I filled out my bracket last night, and I think I did everything right. At least Mary did everything right, and I got it on there. So I'll be seeing how you guys do that. Be fun to watch.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited about that and excited about the opportunity to get back into the drive. Ross and I have done it for over a decade, and it's really been a phenomenal experience to work with Ross on this and to create something such as the drive, and to turn it into what we've turned it into really means the world to me. And, when it comes to the drive itself, D for Dan, R for Ross, it took a long time for me to find the right name. And then I was like, all right, well, we're driving you through the tournament. And then Great Lakes Honda City said something to me last year. They're like, didn't you do something with the NCAA tournament? Like something with us? And, didn't you do something with the bracket? And I said, yeah. And so this year going into it with our exclusive studio partner, I'm very, very excited to have them here for the drive. We're going to drive through the entire bracket. We're going to tell you all of our picks. We're going to go start in the South with the number 1 overall seed, which is Auburn. Then we'll go to the East with the second overall number 1 seed, and that's Duke. Then we'll go to the Midwest with the 3rd overall number 1 seed, that's Houston. And then we'll finish up with the 4th number 1 seed, which is Florida, in the West. And we will break down the bracket. We will go through all of that. We'll tell you NET, what all this stuff means, what are quad wins, and yada, yada, yada. We'll get through all of that here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in hour number 2. Do not miss a second of it. But we have PJ here for hour number 1, and we have some baseball topics on the docket. PJ, what is on that beautiful mind of yours that's always going? What do we got?
Well, there's not really a lot to talk about, but I have come up with some areas that we can discuss. They're winding down the exhibition season, the spring training. Probably as we speak, this teams will probably be set. They'll send some kids down to the minors and release some of the veterans that aren't going to make the team. So, in saying that, I wanted to talk about a couple of teams that are, of course, the ones that are the most important ones, are the ones that the fans follow. And of course, that's one of them is the Yankees. Oh, here comes Mary T. Mary. Daniel says, wish you happy birthday and everything.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
You're welcome, MT.
Go ahead, Daniel.
No, I was just going to say, MT, if you can hear me right now, and to the world, we can be so blessed to have people in our lives that truly love us and support us and are consistent, and they show up. And you are one of the greatest gifts that God has ever given me. And to someone who gives so much to everybody else all the time, I hope you know how much we want to give to you and how much we love you every day.
Thank you, Dan. That's a beautiful message. Love you too.
That's MT, but you got to start it out. You got to go MT.
I love it. That's so much fun.
Yeah, we MT, I hope I got it right. It's your 23rd birthday, right?
That's it.
Okay.
She'll be 74.
74.
74.
Yeah.
74. Hard to believe she looks like she's 50.
Well, that's the thing is everyone that meets MT or sees a picture of her, MT, they tell me two things. They say she is beautiful and she doesn't age. So to your credit and the fact that the Fountain of Youth is literally located in St. Augustine. So, but yeah, MT, we appreciate the beautiful soul and the beautiful person that you are, and not just today, but every day. We very much thank you for what you bring to everybody's life.
Dan.
That's right.
All right, Daniel. Back to the game. The Yankees are probably going to be one of prohibitive favorites. Again, they reached the World Series. What I was going to do this morning, at least for a while, before you had to switch over to your tournament show, is that I was going to discuss the teams that I think are the important ones, are the ones that are talented enough to get through 162 games after playing 30 exhibition games.
Yeah.
So the players are on edge, ready to go, and the Yankees being the Yankees, they got a few new guys in. I've got a projected lineup that I put together for the opening day, and there are some areas that I want to talk about with the Yankees, especially the catcher Austin Wells. You don't know too much about him, but he played last year. But he's a great contact hitter, and normally, and I can say that for sure, other than Manny Sanguin of the Pittsburgh Pirates, catchers don't lead off, mainly because they're big, they're slow, and they're cumbersome. They're not sleek and fast like Mr. Wells is sleek and fast. Not only can he lead off, but he can steal bases.
Yeah.
So they got him. Starting right about. They're going to try to lead off with him, I think. And you got the big man coming second, Aaron Judge. We all know about Aaron Judge, two-time MVP, future Hall of Famer. Probably got another 7 or 8 years left in him. Sensational ball player. He got a big rocket from the outfield too. So he's got a big arm. Besides being big, period. I got Cody Bellinger in the lineup too. Center fielder, used to be with the Cubs. He used to be with the Dodgers too. He's playing a slick center field, and I think that's why Judge is going to move over to right. Bellinger was part of the Cubs national championship year several years ago, and he's bounced around from team to team, but he's a deadly pull left-handed hitter. Got the short right field porch in Yankee Stadium. He's going to love that. And then one of my favorite players, period, in the last 10 years is Paul Goldschmidt. Now, he came from the Cardinals, and of course, he was with Arizona for many years. Now, Goldsmith is a marginal Hall of Fame player. I think he belongs. He's got it. I mean, he's always had it. He's in his late 30s now, but it doesn't matter. He can still produce. He runs well. He feels well. He plays a slick first base. He's a great ball player. Following him, I got Chaz Chisholm, who played last year for the Yankees. Jazz didn't do all that well. He plays a good second base, plays a good infield wherever there's maybe third base too.
Yeah.
But he doesn't hit that well. And I thought that he would hit a little bit better last year, and he didn't. And this year during the spring training, he's still not hitting very well. I don't know why. What the problem is? Maybe he needs glasses or something like that. But he's not seeing the ball too well. And then I got Jason Dominguez playing left field. Don't know much about Jason. He's going to be a new player that we mentioned. Ben Rice is going to be a DHer. He's a big, strong guy, kind of a cumbersome guy that we talked about, lumbersome, just being DHing. Then you got the all-star Italian kid from New Jersey, Anthony Volpe, playing shortstop. Now, Volpe is the kid that came up 2 years ago from New Jersey, played a couple of years in the minors, actually 1 year in the minors. Made the Yankees as a 22-year-old and playing shortstop. Can you imagine the stress on that kid when he came up playing Derek Jeter's position?
Yeah.
And he can pick it, man. And he's a good hitter. Not that good, but he's good enough. He hits home runs, and he stole 28 bases last year. So he's all right. Then we got Oswald Cabrera, plays third base. He's the one that's going to be dragging up the rear. Doesn't hit too well, but is a sleek fielding third baseman. A pretty good lineup. I mean, there are some other guys that may be bouncing in and out. But the main problems with the Yankees is they're going to be their pitching. Now, you know the way I love pitching and defense. I mean, that's how you win pennants. That's how you win championships. But unfortunately, before the season even starts, the best pitcher in the American League, Garrett Cole, needs Tommy John surgery.
Yeah.
Now, I bitch about this all the time, Daniel. These guys got plenty of time for themselves in the off season to take care of their bodies. I don't know why they don't do it the correct way. And on top of that, you got Lewis Gill, who was he pitched well last year, and they're going to lose him. So now you got a pitching rotation. I got Carlos Rodon, Max Fried, who came from Atlanta, nasty lefty. Marcus Stroman's he hasn't pitched well in the last 5 years. We got Will Warren and Clark Smith. These are nondescript guys other than Max Fried. The Yankees are going to be hard pressed to win early because this is not a winning lineup. Hitting wise, probably, but not pitching wise. So there's the Yankees for you.
Yeah, and like you said, in describing the Yankees, I mean, obviously there's high hopes for this season, but there's also injuries that they're dealing with, and there's injuries that could potentially affect hitting. There's injuries that are definitely going to affect pitching. And, it's not what you want to see for a team that made it to the World Series and got bumped out of the World Series the way that they did. And so I feel that the Yankees are going into this season behind the 8 ball. I don't think they're going into this season as a favorite to get back to the World Series. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some other people think differently than me. But I don't see the Yankees better off now than they were last season. And obviously Garrett Cole, that's a clear piece of it, right? Him not being healthy, and he's going to be out this season, and hopefully he'll be ready for next year, because Tommy John surgery could put him in a place where at the beginning of the 2026 season he may not be ready. So it's hard, because you think about the Yankees. I think it's better when the Yankees win. I think baseball is better when the Yankees win. I think it's more exciting when the Yankees win. I think non-baseball fans pay more attention when the Yankees win. So it helps Major League Baseball. But ultimately, I think the Mets, when we talk about the boroughs, I think the Mets are poised to make a push. And I think the Yankees are a little bit, behind right now. And I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know if that's the Astros taking over. I don't know if that's the Orioles. Yeah, I mean, we know the Orioles have been good the last couple of years, but they just haven't been good in the postseason. And they could get there. They just aren't winning there. It doesn't matter what seed they are. They could be the number 1 seed, and they still lose. So, will they take over? Will we see the Kansas City Royals step up? Will we see the Guardians show improve? It's going to be a big question mark. But I think right now the American League is for the taking, because the Yankees are not at full go. And as you talk about the guys that are going to be out there and the excitement that comes from that, it's just sad to see that the Yankees won't be in full force when the season starts.
That's true. Of course, losing Juan Soto is a big deal. They couldn't pay him the $600 million that the Mets are paying. That's a big bad. Of course, Lewis Gill was last year's Rookie of the Year. So you have a perennial All-Star and Cy Young Award winner in Garrett Cole, and Rookie of the Year. Both of these guys won't be starting. Now, Gill, I expect to be back maybe by the end of summer. But you're right about Cole. Cole won't make next year's opening day. He will not. He'll be there probably in the middle of the summer, because the Tommy John surgery it's a terrible rehab. If he doesn't do right, he's going to rip it all up. There's another American League team I like to talk about, and that's one of my favorite teams, is the Kansas City Royals. And I'm a big Bobby Witt guy. He's just awesome. So they got Jonathan India, came over from the Reds. Go Gators. Jonathan India played shortstop for the Gators for years. Bobby Witt, of course, is hitting second. Annual All-Star, and most valuable player in the conversation kind of a person. Then one of our favorite guys is Vinny Pasquantino from New Jersey. Hitting third, clean up, hit over 100 RBIs last year. Salvatore Perez is the catcher. He bats fourth. Going to be batting fourth in my lineup.
Yeah.
He hit almost 100 RBIs and 35 RB home runs. Hard-hitting team. Got MJ Melendez, Hunter Renfroe, one of my favorite players. Used to be with the Giants. Mike Massey, Mikhail Garcia, and Kyle Isbell. The bottom of the lineup is not the best, but the first four guys are going to table set, and they're going to clear them out. They're going to be now pitching-wise. They did have an excellent last year. Cole Ragans, left-handed pitcher. Seth Lugo, who seems like every week I talked about Seth Lugo winning a game or his ERA being right around 2. Sensational pitcher. Michael Waka, been around for years. Good, hard-nosed, right-handed pitcher. Mike Lorenzen and Chris Bubik. The three guys, Ragans, Lugo, and Waka, are going to be the ones that are going to carry the Royals, if it comes to that. Now, I'm going to go to the West.
Okay.
Oh, you want me to talk about the White Sox, Daniel?
PJ, for your homework for next week, I want a 25-page thesis paper on the White Sox.
They don't have it. All right. I was going to talk about the Angels, but they're just not going to make it. I mean, of course, Mike Trout is playing now. He's playing right field. I watched the game yesterday afternoon. He catches a fly ball. He knew he was going to throw at the home plate. I knew he was.
Yeah.
But he circles behind, ran up, caught it, got his momentum, and rifled one hop to the catcher, tagged the guy out. That's a Mike Trout from 10 years ago. He's always had a big arm, but he's playing right field now. He's on his legs. Anyway, the Astros are the ones that are going to lead this division. Who do I like? Or the Rangers? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to stick with the Astros.
Okay.
Because they have a better team. Now, the Astros have lost Bregman, who was with their team for 10 years. Right, came with Houston right out of college at LSU, and he and Jose Altuve have been the main force top of the lineup. Now Bregman's gone, going to the Red Sox. They got Altuve. Isaac Paredes is the guy that came in. He's going to take the third base job away from Bregman, which is why they sort of let Bregman walk. I mean, Bregman is, he's a $40 million guy. A lot of money.
Yeah.
But Paredes was available cheap, so they signed him up. They say, hey, Bregman, if you want to take a walk, take a walk. And he took a walk. So now you got Paredes there, who is, he's not much. He's certainly not a Bregman. You got Jordan Alvarez, the DH, and you got Christian Walker, great player. Yander Diaz, the catcher. Jeremy Pena, shortstop. Jazz McCormick plays a great right field, big arm. Mauricio Dubon played second base, and Jake Myers in center field. So the Astros, without Bregman, have a pretty decent lineup. They get some runs. You got Altuve and Alvarez and Walker are the guys that are going to knock the runs in. Now, the rotation, that's where they're going to make some. That's where they're going to make some money.
Yeah.
Ramber Valdez was their best pitcher last year. He's a left-handed pitcher, nasty. Hunter Brown, Ronel Blanco, Spencer Aragati, and Hayden Wisniewski. This is Valdez and Brown are going to be the ones that hold us together. I don't know if the rest of the team, the rest of the pitching staff can hang in there. The way the analytics are done these days now in baseball is that you got to pitch by committee, which I hate. I always bitch about that. You can't give it. Let a starter go 6 innings, for crying out loud. See what he's got. My goodness, if the guy's got a 2 or 3 hit shutout going, what do you want to take him out for? Oh, the analytics say that he can only throw 90 pitches. That's BS. That's BS. So I want to see more this year, not less. All right, let's go to the National League.
And PJ, what I'm going to do with the National League, as we just talked about the American, perfect time to take a step aside. So we'll take a step aside here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. When we come back, PJ and I will talk about the National League and some storylines going into the 2025 season. Stay with us.
We feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every...
Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Bryan and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business, had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees, and as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there was something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York, to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007. When we first started the business in 2007, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There was a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be more efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience. It's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really change the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allow customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality. And I think on both of those fronts, Servomation has really, in large part, changed that value system for employees. So they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water machines, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean-to-cup coffee machines. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. And in a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like knowing how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection, even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees. There's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I can tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be at the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We got Papa Joe on the line with us here this morning. Why? Because it's Thursday. But why even more so? Well, because we love Papa Joe. And PJ brings it, okay? You might turn on a show that you like, and that's all well and good. Like those shows, like our show, like their shows. But nobody has a Papa Joe except for Wake Up Call. And that's why we dare to be different, right? We bring people on and have conversations with some of the greatest people in the sports world and just wonderful minds and wonderful human beings. And I get to choose who I talk to. And so having PJ on the show always means the world to me. These were conversations at the lunch table, the breakfast table, and the dinner table, conversations on the phone and conversations sitting on the couch and sitting outside. And I thought, why be spoiled and keep all this to myself? Let me bring Papa Joe on and share him with the world. And you've gotten to know him over the years, and your support and your love and your appreciation, your prayers and your positivity go such a long way. And I know Papa Joe and Mary T appreciate it. And with that being said, Papa Joe's going to attack the National League and probably say some bad things, right? I said all these nice things, and then he's going to talk about who he doesn't like. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Now, Papa Joe, my question for you, though, with all the love you give and all the positivity you give, can you tell me anything about the Colorado Rockies, about this season? Is the air going to be a little bit thicker? Is it going to be thinner? Do you have anything nice to say about Colorado?
Not really. It's not the kind of ballpark that the guys want to play in, that's for sure. Because you got a nice little pop fly in the left field winds up in the seats. You're millions of miles up in the air, and it's just a whole different kind of baseball. It's like with football too. I don't I don't follow the Rockies all that much at all. Now remember, folks, that baseball's the opening day is coming up pretty soon.
Yeah.
And just a couple days ago, the Dodgers played the Cubs in Japan to start the season. But what do? They sweep the Cubs, shut them out. They had both of their Japanese pitchers threw lights out. So how do you stop the Dodgers? I don't know. How do you stop the Dodgers? But I'm going to try with what I got here with the Braves. The Braves are probably going to take over the East. That's for sure. I mean, with a little help from the Mets, but the Braves have all the talent. Jurickson Profile leads off. Now, he hasn't led off too many times before, but he's a great player and plays a big outfield. Not a lot of people don't know this, but Jurickson Profile made the Little League World Series coming from Curacao. So you got that in your head to smoke that one. You got Austin Riley at third base. Then we got Matt Olson, Marcell Ozuna. These three guys, all 35 homers, 100 RBIs. These guys are hard to stop. Ozzie Albies. Now, the one guy they're really going to miss, though, that's Ronald Acuna, who's blew out his knee, and he's going to have knee surgery. He's going to be 6 weeks doing that. And you got Orlando Arquez rounding out the lineup. So he's going to have to pick it up a little bit until Acuna comes back. But Olson, Riley, and Ozuna are the big bumpers. Now for pitching, you got National League Cy Young Award winner Chris Sale, who is absolutely nasty, filthy when he starts dropping down from the left and just makes guys look silly up there. Reynaldo Lopez is another guy that's going to be playing and starting. Grant Holmes, Ian Anderson is a big addition to this team. However, the most important part of the rotation is Spencer Strider, who he was actually a Cy Young Award entrant because he was that good. But you know what happens when he blew his arm out too, and I don't even know if he's going to make it back in the middle of this year. Tommy John surgery is supposed to rebuild the bottom part of your elbow where all the stress is coming from the pitch. And I don't care if you're left-handed or right-handed. If you see these guys torque up the way they do, the elbow just gets blown right out. There's no way to stop it. You just got to temper yourself. You got to take care of yourself. But, what can I tell you? Let's talk about the Mets because they're going to be battling the Braves. And the only reason I'm doing that is because Soto is there. We know that Juan Soto signed, I don't know, $700 million contract, some ridiculous money. My man Pete Alonso, go Gators, right there.
That's right.
Yeah, Francisco Lindor, lane shortstop, Juan Soto right field, Pete Alonso at first base, Brandon Nimmo left field, Mark Vientos at third base, Jesse Winker at DH. Those 7 guys hit 6 guys hit the hell out of the ball, and they're going to be scoring an awful lot of runs because of the way Soto's at the beginning of the lineup. So if you can get through the lineup once, you're not going to get through it again. Rotation, you got Kodai Senga, Clay Holmes used to be with the Yankees last year. Now Holmes led the Yankees in saves. So you're asking PJ, why is he in the rotation? Because they're going to try him as a starting pitcher. I'm not sure that's smart. If the guy is doing really good, really a balls out reliever, why would you change? But that's their problem, not mine. You got David Peterson, Griffin Canning, and Taylor Miguel. Miguel has been around for a while. Good spot starter. Holmes is going to be the experiment. And frankly, their Mets, their pitching staff doesn't blow my spirit up at all. Let's get to something else here. Let's go to the Phillies. The Phillies are going to be loaded again. Because why? They have a great pitching staff, but we're going to get to that in a minute. Now, for 2 or 3 years, Kyle Schwarber has always led off. Schwarber doesn't play the best outfield because he's kind of klutzy, but he's a bad DH. He would lead up. He strike out a lot. He could also hit 35 homers and drive in 80 runs. So, but they're doing things a little bit different. From what I understand, they're going to start Trey Turner leading off, followed by Bryce Harper, Alec Bohm, Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos, Matt Kepler, JT Realmuto, Bryson Stott, Brandon March. Every one of these guys is a hitter. They hit for power, they hit for average, and they steal bases. This is a bad lineup, let me tell you. Now you throw the rotation in there. You got Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, and Ranger Suarez. Those 3 guys led the league last year with rotations. Hard to beat. Phillies are going to be very, very difficult to beat this year. Let's go to how much time I got, Daniel?
We got a few minutes here, PJ. So wherever you'd like to go now.
All right. I want to go to your team if I can find it. D-backs. Here we go. National League West. Of course, I have to go to the Dodgers, but let me go to the Dodgers first. Now, coming back from Japan after they whitewashed Chicago, who has hit a home run? Of course, Ohtani is leading off the game, hitting a home run.
Yeah.
That's him. Mookie Betts, shortstop. Freddie Freeman, first base. Teo Scar, Hernandez, right field. Max Muncy at third base. Will Smith catching. Michael Conforto, Tommy Edman, Andy Pages. The first 8 guys are sensational players. They hit for average. They hit for homers. They drive in runs. The Dodgers are a real force. Now you get to the pitching staff, which is all world. I don't know what else to say about the pitching staff. Blake Snell, left-handed pitcher, 2-time Cy Young Award winner, leading off. You got Yoshinobu Yamamoto, right-handed pitcher. Tyler Graskov used to be with the Rays, right-handed pitcher. Roki Sasaki just signed him from Japan. Dustin May. The first 4 pitchers, balls out. Shutout city. Tough to beat. Now, unfortunately, Clayton Kershaw, who has been a Dodger for 18 years, they signed him again this year for more millions of dollars. And what happens? He gets hurt already. The guy, the last 5 or 6 years, he's been hurt. He can't pitch. Why did he keep, release the guy? He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Let him go on to the sunset. I don't know what they're going to do with that. All right, let me get to the back to Daniel's team, which is the D-backs. Now, you know what I'm going to say here. Corbin Burns came from Baltimore, came from Milwaukee, best pitcher in the American League, National League, wherever he wants to pitch. He's that good. Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Eduardo Rodriguez, and Brandon Stott. Those guys, that's a mean rotation. But when you go back to the lineup, now you got guys that can hit the ball and drive in runs.
Yeah.
Corbin Carroll, who did not have a good year last year. I don't care what Daniel said. He did not have a good year last year. He didn't hit for average. As a matter of fact, he was hovering over the Mendoza line for a couple of months. But he's tough. Came back, wound up hitting something like 230 or something. Martell is a driving guy. Boris Gurriel, Josh Naylor, who came from Cleveland, and Julio Suarez, Gabriel Moreno, Kevin Smith, Jake McCarty, Geraldo Padama. I don't know where you're going with this lineup, Daniel, but if you get Corbin Carroll out, Kelto Martell out, and Gurriel out, the rest of the lineup is not going to get any runs. So what's going to happen here is that the D-backs are going to have to win with pitching, and they have the pitching. You can get Corbin Burns and Zach Gallen. You can't get any better than that. Now, one of my pet peeves last year was why or how the Diamondbacks signed Jordan Montgomery, who was signed for $25 million for 3 years, wound up with an ERA over 6, couldn't get anyone out. I don't even know where he went. He may have gone back to Detroit. Don't care either, really. And he's a big expert, big nothing. That's it, Daniel. I'm going to let you run off your show, and I'm going to be listening.
That coming from Papa Joe, speaking on the National League coming out of the break, the American League before the break, giving some thoughts here. I like what you said. I don't care what Daniel said about Corbin Carroll. He didn't have a good year. I didn't say that he did, but I know Papa Joe is kidding and whatnot. He had a sophomore slump. He did. It happens, unfortunately. And, it's been tough. Christian Walker not being in the lineup anymore. Obviously, they got to make up for that. But the Diamondbacks have been making moves. They've been doing some good things, and they're poised to be a World Series contender. They don't want to be a team that was in the playoffs, now they're not in the playoffs, or a team that's in the playoffs but they don't go as far. They understand that there's a window. They understand that there's time. They understand that you can't always keep everybody together. And after they went to the World Series, they brought most of that roster back. And now they've added. The fact that Zach Gallen isn't the ace, Corbin Burns is the ace now. So you got an ace with an ace, and then you got Merrill Kelly, who at times can be an ace. So that's, you go into a series in the postseason, and you got 3 potential aces pitching for you. You got 2 1s and a 2, sometimes 3 1s. So it's huge. It's huge for them. And pitching and defense, as Papa Joe says, that's what wins. Because anybody could score runs, but you got to look at what's lacking. And in the case of teams, I mean, you look at the Yankees, right? What was yanking? And what was lacking was the pitching and defense. It was the fact, Aaron Judge, people are like, he had an error in the World Series. He didn't have an error all season. He didn't have an error in over 100 games. And he had one in the World Series. But you look at pitching, the pitching outside of Garrett Cole, nobody was a threat. Nobody was a threat to the Dodgers. And that middle part of the pitching for the Yankees, those guys that come in, the relief pitchers in between the starter and potential closer, none of those guys were any threat to anybody. So the Yankees have to get better in that area. The Diamondbacks are putting themselves in a place where if it's game 3 or it's game 4, they're still a threat. And that's a good thing. So I'm excited to see where they go with this. Obviously, the Dodgers are the favorite. Why wouldn't they be? They've spent billions, not millions, billions of dollars on just a few players. Just a few players. If you had $1 billion, what would you do with it? Think about that. And then understand that 3 guys combined are making that billion. Plus, they go and get somebody else. Yamamoto is going to be more involved now. It's absolutely crazy to see what the Dodgers are doing. They're spending a lot of money, and they're the new Yankees, right? People got mad, said the Yankees bought championships. They went out there and just spent more money than anybody else. Well, the Dodgers are doing that. The Mets are doing that. And we'll see what that turns into. The Mets and the Dodgers are on the same side, so if it comes down to them, somebody's going to the World Series and somebody isn't. But I'm excited about this 2025 season. Papa Joe's a big reason why I am, because of what he brings to the table. And with that being said, I want to thank PJ for being a part of the show. I want to thank MT for all she does. Very happy birthday to Mary, her 23rd birthday. Shout out to MT. And I hope that you feel better, Papa Joe. We are praying for you, and very quickly here, for you, for Jackie, for Mary, for Mom and Dad, for Joey and Diana and the kids, and Boom Boom and Lily and Marissa and everyone that we love. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God, please help us to heal completely and for good. And no matter what, may we heal through you and handle well whatever comes our way, in and out of our control, for Papa Joe, for me, for all of our loved ones, and for everybody listening and watching and all of your loved ones. We pray that God's healing hand is on you today, that miracles continue to happen, and that we only get better, and that we've just gotten started. In Jesus' most precious name, amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. With that being said, PJ, we love you, and we'll talk with you soon.
Okay, see you later, Daniel.
Take care. That coming from Papa Joe one more time here on the broadcast. I'm going to take a step aside here as we're going to end this video and start a new video, because the drive has its own place on Wake Up Call. And so we're going to go ahead and bring that to you now, here where sports truly meets that thing called life, inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Wherever you're watching and listening, stay with us, as we'll be back momentarily in the Great Lakes Honda City Studios.